G'day guys, Josh Huggett here from Huggett Media, and today I've had lots of people ask, so I thought I would just make one of these what's in my camera bag updated videos. It is now 2024. We are entering into the end of 2024 wedding season, so my bag is packed. I'm kind of notorious for like changing my setup and changing my kit very, very frequently. I love backpacks, I love bags, I love trying different things to see if I can find the best method possible. I'm a big workflows guy, for those of you that don't really know who I am. No matter what I do, I kind of always just find myself coming back to this bag. So we'll start with the bag, then we'll open it up and get inside. But yeah, welcome to What's in My Camera Bag 2024. The bag hasn't changed since 2022 or whenever it first came out. It is a Peter McKinnon 35 litre backpack. It's a great bag. It does everything I need it to do and more. You can fit so much stuff in it. It's tough. It gets the job done. It's never failed me. I've always got room to put more stuff in there. It's just, I don't know. If you haven't touched one of these bags, if you haven't seen one in person, it's really hard to describe why it's so good, but it kind of just is. It's just like the perfect bag. I've thrown this around probably at about 150 weddings now, and it's still like no major scuffs or anything like that on the front. Zips are good. Very great bag. Opening up the bag. She's full. It's a full bag. So, starting with camera bodies. Currently, as of this part of the wedding season, I'm still rocking a 2-camera system. I do only use one camera. That's better. Let's get some more light on me here. I was wondering why it was so dark. I'd forgotten that I'd moved my light because this is a standing desk. So inside the bag, currently a 2-camera system. I'm currently using the R3 as my main body, and I have an R5 as a second body. For the longest time I did shoot on 2 Canon R3s. However, they're very, very big. They're very big cameras. They take a lot of camera bag space, and I'm trying to make my kit as small as possible because I do now shoot far more interstate weddings, so there is a lot more travel involved in the weddings that I'm shooting. So I'm trying to make my kit as small as possible, but also keep it within one bag so that I can literally just put this in the overhead compartment, take it down, shoot a wedding, never have to part with anything. So eventually this R3 will be replaced with an R5 Mark II. However, that's probably the end of the wedding season decision that I'm going to make. Get a little bit more money in the bank account after the quiet season. But currently, R3 with the 28-70 f2. This workhorse has been, for the last 3 weddings in a row at least, 95% of images taken on this camera and this lens. I like it that I'd never really need to change a camera battery because the R3 batteries last so long. The F2, I'm able to shoot all day on this. I've been such a prime shooter for so long. Like, oh, the images are crisper. Oh, you're gonna get better bokeh. It's gonna be more versatile. It makes you think more when you're taking photos because you're gonna walk backwards and forwards. 28-70's it's been really good. I bought it when it first came out a few years ago, and then I stopped using it because it's such a heavy lens. It's so heavy. This entire kit here with the flash on it weighs like 4 kilos, which holding 4 kilos in your hand all day is a lot. It's a bit too much. And in saying that, I did literally last night just purchase the Canon RF 15-35 2.8. So I think going forward my kit's going to change again, but I got to test it before I make a bag about it. But current main camera body and main camera lens is the R3 with the 28-70 f2 on a Peak Design strap. I'm trying to use straps more. For a really, really long time I haven't been using any camera straps at all, and I just use my hands. However, after 10 hours, I wake up the next day and I've got sore wrists and sore fingers from like carrying 4 kilos in my hand all day. So I'm trying to train myself to use my camera straps more often. Main camera, main body. Second camera, like I mentioned earlier, in here I have my Canon R5. The other R3 is sitting at home on the shelf. It has been retired. I bought this as a little tester and as a YouTube camera, but I ended up putting it in the camera bag because it fits nicely in here. Whereas the R3s don't. The R3s are so bulky. I love my R3s. They are by far the best cameras I've ever purchased and owned in my entire life. However, they're really, really big. Whereas the R5 slides in here nicely. So R5, second body. As for lenses, now this camera bag here, I can shoot probably 3 weddings out of this without ever having to take anything out of it, without having to charge any batteries. And I shoot both photo and video. I'm a hybrid shooter, so I'm making small highlight films out of these bags as well. So this is both photo and video, small highlight film, one bag. So that means we have cameras, lenses, flashes, lights, audio equipment, all in the one bag. And that's why I like it so much. Yes, it weighs 15.5 kilos to put it on my shoulders. However, it has literally everything in there that I'm ever going to need. So as for lenses, current lenses I have is the 50 1.2, which is the lens that sits on the R5 the most. This is the one. This is my main workhorse lens. If you were to look at the metadata on my Lightroom, I reckon 90% of the pictures that I take would be on this lens forever. This has fallen out of my car. This is all bung up. I don't know if this will focus, but you can just see how kind of ruined this lens is because it gets used so often. I used to use the Holdfast Moneymaker straps and this would just sit and whack into things, but this workhorse, like the focus ring at the front, I don't know if you feel it. It doesn't really move. When it focuses, it's kind of crunchy as well. 51.2, best lens I've ever bought in my entire life, hands down. Second backup lens that sits in here is my 85 1.2. Now this I'm probably gonna take out or sell or get rid of. 85 1.2. Very nice lens, takes some fantastic photos, but heavy, doesn't get used that often. The only time I ever really put this on my camera is I'll put it on the R5 for the ceremony if it's a bit further away and I want to get a little bit closer, because I can chuck on the 85 on the R5. And then what I do is I have on my camera on the back here, I have my buttons here set to crop mode, so I'm able to quickly click this, get into crop mode, so then I get 1.6 crop. So 1.6 crop on an 85 is like 100 and something mil lens, and being that it's such a large megapixel camera, I'm able to do that crop really, really easily. So I use this for those really, really far away ceremonies, and it's just nice to have a good portrait lens backup in case one of these goes wrong. There was a wedding recently where I thought my 50, because it's so crunchy and broken, I thought it was making the shutter fail in my R3. Turns out that it was just the shutter itself that was broken, but I thought that it was causing the shutter to fail. It wasn't, but I was able to switch it out with the 85 and continue the wedding day without any issues. In here as well, this little section down here is full of my little nifty gifties, or my little nifty stuff. So I do keep my Insta360 Go 3. I have the original black version. Before it went to 4K, which is very, very frustrating. I bought this literally just before it went to 4K. Do keep the chest mount in here as well. This is mainly just for behind the scenes videos. If I'm making content for YouTube or something, I have this so that I can record that. In here as well, I keep my 24mm 1.8. This is my reception lens. This is the lens that I will move to when we hit the reception and that dance floor kicks off. As soon as that dance floor starts, I'm on the R5, I'm on this. I want as small a kit as possible so that I can just be on the dance floor, do a little bit of a boogie, hang out with everybody, take some nice photos. And I'm not having to carry a huge 28-70. That's why I'm excited for this 15mm lens, because that's going to be able to get some wacky photos as well. In here, this section here, which currently holds my tiny little handy cam that I just bought on Amazon, but this is normally where my drone would sit. However, that fell out of the sky on the weekend, so that's being repaired currently. So that's where my drone would sit for drone footage. In here, This is where I keep my 360 camera for more of my behind the scenes content, which is where we post everything, is with that 360. I also keep a power bank in here. I have a big 30,000 milliamp power bank. It's very, very heavy. However, I can use this for like 4 or 5 weddings without ever having to charge it. And I use it to charge my Insta360s, my 360 camera, my phone if I need to charge my phone, like I'm running out of battery or whatever. It's just nice to have a power bank in here, knowing that, you know, everything's going to stay charged. I keep a USB-C cable attached, and then I do have an iPhone cable here because I don't have an iPhone that doesn't have lightning yet. Very frustrating. Flashes in this section here. I don't use a heap of flash on my wedding days. I try to stay as natural as possible all day. So I do bring 2 flashes with me, which surprises so many people because I'm so adamant about natural light photography. It always surprises people when I say that I bring 2 flashes with me to a wedding day. They're always like, oh, gee, you using a flash, are you, mate? Yep, I use a flash. So this here is my X-T2C for Canon. It just means that I can control my flashes if I want to use off-camera flash or anything like that. I have these. They're great. They were cheap. They do the job. There's lots of newer versions out there. But I like having a hot shoe on the top as well. Or is it a cold shoe? That's a hot shoe. I like having the hot shoe on the top. One, so that if I'm doing behind the scenes stuff, or if I'm using off-camera flash, I can still record behind the scenes being that this attaches to the hot shoe. Or I can have this flash here for fill, and then I can have backlight if I want it as well. They're great, they're easy to use, they're cheap. X-T2C, good bit of kit. As for the flashes themselves, I have the Godox V1C. I do not have the Pro version because that didn't exist when I bought these. I bought this in the middle of COVID. I bought two Godox V1Cs. One I bought from a local camera shop, and it took them 9 months to get it to me. After purchasing, it took them 9 months to get the camera flash to me. I got sick of waiting, and I ended up breaking the flash that I had at the time, which was the Yongnuo something. Bought one on Amazon, it was there within 3 days. And then my other one turned up very, very quickly. So it doesn't come with this, but this is the Godox V1C. I use these domes to then disperse the light, make everything look nice and soft and just way better. Godox V1C, this is the flash that I would use. I use this at every single wedding. I'm currently in the market, now you may be able to help me here. I'm currently in the market for a really small flash. I want a tiny flash so that when I'm on the dance floor and it's, whatever time of night, I've got this tiny camera set up. I've got big hands, tiny camera. I want a little flash for the top so that I can do my dance floor photos with a really small footprint. Currently, to do dance floor photos, I've got a really small camera, but then I got to throw a big flash on top, and it's not that great. I don't really like it. So I'm in the market for a really, really small flash. If you can think of one, put it in the comment section down below, and I'll have a look at it. Currently looking at the 270E, 270Z or something, the Canon version. Anyway, small flash, if you can think of one, let me know. The other flash that I bring is the Godox AD200 Pro. I use this for really just to save me if I need it. So sometimes people want to do like a ballroom blitz photo where they like sit in the middle of the room and then all of the tables come up one at a time and we take that photo. You do need a more powerful flash for that, I found, than the V1. So having this where I can just point it at the roof and I can blast out any other shitty lighting, I really find that the Godox AD200 Pro does that. Also gives me the ability to do those more creative portraits if I want to do them outside. Recently we shot a wedding and it was at dusk, so it was dark by the time the ceremony had finished. The AD200 Pro, I do have 2 of these because I run studio shoots as well, but I brought both my AD200 Pros and I was able to put one on either side and actually look after the wedding. So AD200 Pro doesn't get used at every single wedding. However, I keep it in here as a save me just in case I need to really light up a room. Thank you, AD200 Pro. Now we're on to audio, because like I said, I do both photo and video on a wedding day. Lots of people want to know how I do that. It's called hybrid shooting, I can make a video on hybrid shooting, or you can look at Taylor Jackson's videos on hybrid shooting because they are great and they taught me. So, in here, I have this came with my bag, but the Peter McKinnon Nomadic SD card holder. I have enough SD cards in here, or there's CF Express and SDs, just in case something goes wrong on a wedding day. I never fill an SD card. This is more where my kid's screaming in the morning before the wedding and I forgot to put cards inside my camera or something along those lines. I have backups. I also keep backups in my car. I always have SD cards and CF Express cards in my car, just in case. Keep. Here, this is audio recording number 1. This is the Zoom F3. I like this because it's 32-bit float, which means you can't peak it. I don't know heaps of technical stuff about this. Lewis is the best person to ask. However, we have ours modified with a power bank sitting on the back. If I bring it back here, it'll probably be in focus. So we buy, Lewis has the same setup as myself. We buy these small power banks from Amazon, 10,000 milliamp hours, and the Zoom F3 with a small USB-C cable with a right angle cable here. This just means that if we turn on our Zoom F3 like this, and it loads, currently we are based off of battery power. If we then, which means we would have to change the batteries, it can go flat with the power bank. All we do is unplug the power bank and then plug it back in. We are now no longer using, come on you motherfucker. We're now no longer using the battery power of the Zoom F3. We're now using the power of the power bank to run this. So instead of just running off internal batteries, we are now using the power bank itself, which means we can run this for literally hours and hours and hours on end and never have to worry about the batteries going flat. Never change the batteries in this, ever. Runs off the power bank. You can get 7 to 10 weddings out of one power bank charge, and even then, all you do if you want to charge the power bank is unplug this and plug it into a USB-C socket, and you can charge your batteries. This is the best thing that Lewis has ever done, and I stole it for my hybrid days, so thank you very much, Lewis. Zoom F3 for recording. Now we have in here, the last bit of audio kit is just the DJI mics. This way we have lapels as well. We record internally on the lapels. These again, 32-bit float. These are the DJI Mic 2, I believe they're called. But 32-bit float, no peaking, no need to worry about levels too much. I mean, obviously keep your levels good, but you don't need to worry about anything. So that is our main compartment here of everything. Up here, nothing all that interesting really. I keep, there's the blades that I told Lewis I returned to him. Sorry, Lewis. In here, lightning cable, another Peak Design strap for the R5. In my believe satchel here, I have Panadol, I have batteries, like AA and AAA batteries, because you never know when you're going to need them. I have a shoe, like the flooring for my flash, just in case I want to use the V1 as a flash. In here is literally just painkillers and antihistamines, so that if you get hay fever or a headache or anything on a wedding day, you've got that. This is essentially as close as I get to having a medikit on a wedding day. Up here, batteries, R3 batteries, R5 batteries. I'm never going to use all of these batteries on a wedding day. Maybe the R5 batteries if I go really heavy on the R5. But even then, never really happens. And then the last little bit of kit that we keep in here, and that stays up in this front section because I don't use it as often, is I open this section here, which is where people would normally put their clothes. But I have my supplies bag, which is my favorite little baggie. And this has every single cable you could ever need to plug this Zoom F3 into a Celebrant's recorder. Every time we've been to a wedding and we've been like, hey, can we plug into your system? If they have a system that we didn't have a cable for, we would just buy it on Amazon at the time. Same with DJ booths as well. So in here, I just keep all of them. There's your guitar lead one, RCA cables, adapters. We can even plug into the shittiest of shittiest Kmart ones. But even then, if you're plugging into the back of a Kmart speaker, you're probably better off using your lapel microphones. But we like to have backups, so we have the ability to do that as well. This is just my little baggie that sits in the back of the bag, and we bring it out just for the audio, and then it goes straight back in. That's it. That's my entire kit. That's my entire wedding photography kit for the 2024 season. So I can shoot multiple weddings out of this bag without having to charge a battery. I can shoot both photo and video out of this bag without having to take anything out or put anything in. Nothing ever gets taken out of this bag, ever, except for batteries. The cameras, unless I'm shooting, are in the bag. The audio recording equipment, unless I'm using it, stays in the bag. There's no reason for me to ever have to take anything out of this bag other than shooting it on a wedding day. If I'm shooting a video for YouTube or anything, I use my Canon R6 sitting up here with the 16mm lens. If I'm shooting a live stream, I have another camera that I use for that. There's no reason to take anything out, so that means nothing's ever going to go missing. I like a concise kit. I feel like this is a pretty minimal kit for a wedding photographer. There's not that many lenses, both photo and video out of one backpack. Very interested to see what you think. But yeah, that's what's inside my wedding kit 2024 season. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. If you've got any questions you would like answered for Tog Talk, put them in the comment section and I will get to them next week when we do Tog Talk. So thanks so much for watching. If you've got any questions, let me know. Until then, have a fantastic day, whatever you're doing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.